Thank you so much for checking out part 2 of this episode. I'm not going to waste too much of your time. We're going to jump right into it. Lynn, I think, has something to say.
I got one more update.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Serious matter. Oh, my gosh. So fucking sensitive.
I'm not sensitive.
So
I don't like
sensitive.
needles, man.
It's not a
Tell
need.
the story.
It's not bad.
Tell the story.
So I had to go, I guess this is more or less update on my end. I have, I normally get physical therapy for my shoulder, for my rotator cuff being torn. But I'm like Mr. Potato Head. I'm all beat to shit. My elbow, my fucking shoulder, my knee, my foot, everything on my left side is a car crash. And I want to go to my primary doctor to get my referral renewed so I could have him start working on my elbow because my shoulder's, it's not healed, but it's as good as it's going to get without surgery.
Right.
So I'm just wasting time. If I can have him work on the next injury,
right,
which is the tendinopathy in my elbow, I'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
So when I go there, anytime you go get your, you go to a doctor, they check your blood pressure.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's a mandatory thing. Why, like, you could be going there just to tell the doctor that you need, I don't know, ibuprofen for a headache or anything. It could be anything about anything. Renewing paperwork for FMLA or something like that. And that's the first thing they want to weigh you, and they want to check your blood pressure.
Yeah, I think it's to make sure you're not on the verge of a heart attack.
I think so, but it's just weird that that's the first primary thing. And I noticed that more now, is that I went to go get weighed, and I weigh 195 pounds, and when I went to get weighed, the girl weighed me. She's like, okay, 172. And I look at her and I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, 172 pounds. Go ahead and go into the office. So I was like, okay, whatever. I got to go sit down a thing because I know it's wrong, but I have a digital scale here at home, so I normally weigh myself every other day in the morning, depending. And
do you take a poop first?
Well, I mean, it doesn't. You don't poop that much.
Do you take a poop first?
Probably. I don't know. I don't know. But you don't weigh that much to lose poundage. If you're taking a pound poop in the morning, you need to go 5 pounds. You need to go get your prostate checked. Yes.
You mean your intestines?
Everything.
Prostate has nothing to do with poop.
It's all linked to your butthole.
Nothing to do with poop.
What do they do when they check your prostate?
That's how they check your prostate.
How do they check your prostate?
That has nothing to do with bowel movement.
How do they check your prostate?
They have to go in through your butt.
And what comes out of your butt?
Why are you putting those things together?
Exactly. It's the same thing.
No, it's not.
So, regardless.
You're just like talking about butts.
No. When I got back into the waiting room, the second nurse came in and I asked her, I was like, hey, is the weight going to affect whatever my referral is for? Because this lady had me weighing in at 172 pounds. And she's like, what do you normally weigh? I was like 195. Mm-hmm. So we went out there. They weighed me, same thing. I was like 194 something. And I look at the nurse behind me and she's like shielding her face like, I'm sorry. She goes, I was going to fix it. I didn't know what I was looking at. And I was like, okay, no big deal. So I go in there and they check my blood pressure. They put the little blood cup thing on there and pressure it up. I don't know why, but they always go with your left arm first.
Yes.
Do you know what an average person's blood pressure is supposed to be?
No, but it's lower than 100.
Well, okay, so there's two numbers. Mm-hmm. You have your upper and your lower.
Yeah.
Your highs and your lows. Most people relatively sit 125 to 132 at the top, and then below is around 80.
Okay.
That's an average for 95% of the people. Mm-hmm. But people who have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, you shoot a little higher. So when they did mine, I was not under the impression that I had high pressure and high blood pressure or high cholesterol because I'm very active. Plus that week I had to do the bullshit bike academy.
Yeah.
So my blood pressure should be low because I'm exerting. No, your blood pressure goes up when you're doing it. But then you don't stay elevated at the end 5 hours later.
It depends on your circulation.
No,
but generally,
realistically, your body has to come down. If you were, that's like saying you did cardio and you were sprinting on a treadmill and then you stopped and your heart was still running as if you were on the treadmill forever. You would have a heart attack. It's unrealistic.
Not forever.
Your heart rate has to go down. I had done that bike academy. The last time I rode the bike was way later. The day before. So my heart would have already came down at that point.
Oh, well, yeah.
My blood pressure would have already
time.
came down.
Yeah.
When they rang it, I was at 144 over 192.
Good job.
And the lady's like, well, that's weird. And she goes to check my other arm. And my right arm rang at 150 over 90 something. And she's like, well, we'll just have the doctor check it. So then the doctor checks it when she comes in. And she's going through all my paperwork, asking me questions about what I need. And I was like, I need the referral, I need my FMLA and all that stuff. And when she checked my arm again, it was at 162, and she just stopped talking. And I'm looking at her, I'm like, hey, everything good over there? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, I'm looking at her like, I'm not going to hit you. Why don't you tell me what's going on? She's like, yeah, so in good faith, I can't just send you out of here.
Yeah,
because,
they probably want to send you to ER.
And she's like, I need to put you on blood pressure medication. And I was like, the fuck, for what? And she's like, yeah, your thing is 30 points over than average. And she's like, do you know if it runs in your family? I was like, I don't know. I was like, I know everybody in my family is a bunch of hotheads. My mom, my grandpa, everything like that. So that could possibly be a thing. And she's like, look, let's get you on blood pressure and then figure out, what's going on. So first off, I have a pretty good medical knowledge background between all the stuff that I've had to study for medicine.
Yes.
And then my mother being, she had her associates and her bachelor's in nursing. So it's like I know a good more than most when it comes to optimal nutrition and stuff like that, kinesiology, just any kind of medical terms. And I know when it comes to certain things, especially with blood pressure medication, you got to do your research before you take it.
Yes.
This lady wanted to give me like 50 milligrams of, I'm not going to go into the medical term for it, but it's a blood pressure medication that it's supposed to elevate your body out within 4 days. But the thing is that it tells you, and when I asked her, I was like, hey, if I take this, is this going to affect my performance? Because I actively have to, my job is to train people to fight.
Right.
So I can't not be active. And she's like, no, yeah, you should be fine. Just don't overexert yourself. I go look at the thing, and the first thing it says is that you could black out.
Yes.
Because think about it. If you're running at 160 and it drops me down to 130,
you're going 9-9.
You're losing blood from somewhere. So your body just drops down. So I reached out to my mother because I don't normally reach out to her for anything, but I know she has a good background when it comes to stuff. And normally I'm relatively more knowledgeable than she is, but she was throwing terms at me. Like, she's like, well, how heavy are you right now? I told her I was like, I'm 195. And she's like, well, that's probably the heaviest you've been. I was like, yeah, 5'8", that's heavy.
Yeah.
I'm stacked at 195, so I'm not overweight, and my conditioning's good because I do cardio pretty frequently. I train, I'm active, I'm never out of breath. But I do feel that I am heavy. But I do it because most of the guys that I have to train and grapple with,
bigger dudes.
They're bigger than me.
Yeah.
Everybody's well over 6 foot, and they're over 300 pounds. I'm literally the smallest person in my group.
Yeah.
So if I'm under that, I'm underperforming.
Yeah.
And I can't. It'd be different if I was striking with these people.
Yeah.
But I'm not hitting them. I have to grab them.
Yeah.
So it's like I need strength.
Show moves of
Yeah,
restraint.
exactly.
Yeah.
So my mom was like, why don't you cut your weight down? Like 10 pounds, see if that changes. Because one of the things I also went to the doctor for is to check my sleep because I'm tired all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I go to work, I'll sleep 8 hours. I'll go to bed at 11, wake up at 7. And halfway through the day, I have to take a nap on my lunch. And then after work, I have to take another nap. And then I go to bed. So I'm sleeping 4 times or 3 times in a day period.
Now,
and I still have,
your body is tired or your brain is tired?
well, that's the thing is I asked my mom about it, and she said there's 2 things that you're going to realize, that everybody in our family, they have high blood pressure. She's like, so if you're running 140 over 90, you're good, because that's normal for us. If you put that in someone else's body, they're not good. But you have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, because that's in the family. Another thing is that since you were a kid, you used to always have to take naps.
Yeah.
She's like, do you snore when you sleep?
I do remember you sleeping for like fucking
all the time,
all day,
all
bro.
the fucking time, and I'm always tired.
Like, when is this kid gonna wake up?
I'm always fucking tired. I'm dead asleep most of the time, and it's like I have to. I always knew there was something like wrong with it, like, but I'm like, okay, this is just normal for me. I have to do this.
It's just what we've done.
Yeah, I've just had to deal with doing that. But then my mom was like, you might have sleep apnea.
Yeah.
I've had people that have slept next to me say, like, I do snore. I don't snore crazy.
Yeah.
But there'd be times I'd wake up in panic like I was choking.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that. And I thought it was because of something that I ate.
Breathing.
I'd stopped breathing.
Yeah.
And it happened so frequently, so many times, that I was like, okay, well, my body knows that I'm not going to die in my sleep. So I'm just going to learn to deal with it. But then it got to a point I was like, okay, between the blood pressure shit.
Right.
And finding out that it's sleep, I got to do something. Right. So my plan now is to cut.
No. Tell him the part I hate. You got to tell him about that part. Yeah. Right, you skipped that.
Yeah. So.
Oh my God! Just looking at it.
I had to get blood drawn, Quest Diagnostic, and when you get blood drawn, obviously they gotta stick a hypodermic needle in there. It cuts underneath the skin, but it's not. The whole purpose of an hypodermic needle is like this. The needle's so fine and so thin,
get into the vein.
It can punch through air pretty much. And doing that, you don't want to bruise or rupture the vein. So when it gets in there, they have to hold it and then put vials in there so they can drain multiple vials. I had known when she got the first stab into the arm because my hand started convulsing, and the lady turns and looks at me, and it's like, obviously, like I said, I do have a medical background and I know this stuff. She looks at me to try to make it seem like I didn't know that she did it, because she looks and she's like, so are you okay? And I was like, yeah. I was like, I think you might have missed the blood vein and it hit a nerve. And she's like, yes, but I don't want you to panic. So let's just reset this. And I was like, great. Pulls the needle out, stabs it back in. Little bit of blood kind of just squirts out. You should see him. He's twisting and turning.
It's not TikTok, bro.
It's not that bad.
I've been on TikTok just losing it.
It's not that bad, but
because you don't mind needles.
I don't mind anything.
I know.
I have a very high pain tolerance to a lot of things. You could break a bone on me, and you probably wouldn't even see me cry.
I mean, will I let you penetrate me with the needle? Of course. Am I gonna faint? No. Do I like the thought of this big long piece of metal just casually?
You see it too. It's like I'm waiting. Like they wipe it down. They do the anesthetic and clean everything off. And then once they set the needle, Mike, your brain needs to know to not look at it.
Right.
So I turn away. I feel the pinch. She's like, okay, make a fist. I make a fist. And then I knew when she hit the nerve because my hand started like convulsing.
Come on.
And I'm like, okay, well, reset. They pulled 4 vials worth of blood.
That's a lot of fucking blood. You're gonna be out, bros.
No, it's fine. I got out, and the thing is that sucked more is because you have to fast.
Yeah.
So my appointment was until 1:30.
Yeah.
So I had to fast till 1:30. I had a cup of coffee.
Eat nothing.
No, I mean you have to fast.
Yeah.
As soon as I got home, I ate a big meal. I've eaten again before. I feel fine.
Good.
Everybody's so fucking sensitive.
I'm not.
Wait until you get shot or actually stabbed.
I don't want to hear about. I've seen shootings and stabbings, and it's weird. I can deal with blood on like a large scale for some reason. Like I've dealt with people getting stabbed. I've dealt with obviously fights where people just been bloodied, bruising. I can handle that, in the moment. Mm-hmm. But when you're telling me about it, my mind is making this horrific.
It's trying to like put you in the
right. And I'm just feeling
it's the amphitheater.
You say needle. I'm imagining this like multi-pronged.
Oh my! It's not gonna probe you. So moral of the story, more or less, is
you gotta lose weight.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to cut and then see where the blood pressure goes.
Yeah.
It's just crazy for me to think. I barely just turned 33. I'm more active and healthy than most of the people in my life.
Yes.
And to know that I have high blood pressure is kind of, it's a concerning thing.
It's
people
genetics,
around me,
though.
Yeah, it's a genetic thing. And even talking to my mom, she was like pretty cool about it. I haven't brought it up with my brother, Eric Notch, so I do apologize, guys. I'll tell you at some point, or unless you don't want to hear the episode. I don't want to concern or worry anybody about it, but it is something I feel like long term, if you haven't had a chance to go see a doctor, go get yourself checked out. Because there's a lot of bodybuilders and videos that I follow where guys that are roughly close to my age that are having heart attacks or they're having strokes. My mom even made a good point. She's like, look, go get your blood tested with one of the cups or one of the little things. They have them. They don't have it at Walgreens or CVS.
You go to Walmart.
They don't have it at Walmart either.
They do.
They have it at Smith's.
Some Walmarts. They don't have them at all.
I didn't see it at the Super Walmart, and I went to EVS and Walgreens. Mm-hmm. They didn't have it, but Smith's right next to my house. Mm-hmm. It's got one of the ones you put your arm in and then it holds the pressure. And those do help, but, at the end of the day, my mom's like, hey, if your blood pressure is hitting 150s or 160s, that puts you in form of almost, you could have a stroke.
And that's what I was talking about as far as, like, your activity. It wasn't necessarily the bikes. It's you do this every day, bro. You're physically forcing people down, restraining people, having to walk, having to climb, having to ride a bike, having to do this. And then you just finished traveling. Mm-hmm. So you got a little sick after that. Or not sick, but you had to kind of recover from your jet lag experience. So that's what I mean. Like, all of that stuff is constantly putting a strain on your body.
That's one thing I do notice. And when I was bringing it up, I was talking to a few people about it. This point in my life, I'm the most successful I've been, but I'm the most stressed I've been.
Yes.
And I can't even chalk up to the stress being worth the success.
Right.
I'm doing better than I was before, obviously, because I have more shit that I have to work for. But, the pros don't outweigh the cons.
Right.
To feel this tired, like I and this is one of the things when it comes to high blood pressure, which I'm thinking about it now because I do have a headache, but I have a headache almost every day. I'm tired every single day.
Right.
I lose the energy and the lack to want to perform optimally. And I know I can't bitch about it because I know I'm not the only one who's feeling like this.
Yeah.
At this point in our age and our time, everybody's going through their shit.
Yeah.
So we're all entitled to feel what it is that we're feeling.
Exactly.
It's just, I would hope everybody's kind of got that same mindset of don't overwork yourself or don't think your mental health isn't the same as your physical health.
Right.
Just because I'm physically healthy doesn't mean that I'm mentally okay.
Mm-hmm. And that's what it boils down to. Just it's hard to take care of yourself. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to say that because it's kind of a cop-out. But in certain situations,
you're right.
It's hard to take care of yourself.
You're right.
You know what I mean? I have to force myself. I mean, like Yoda, force lift my ass out of bed every day and push myself into my office chair, log into work. It is such a mental struggle. And I hate it when my coworkers are like, no, it's okay. Just block it out. Just tell yourself it's only 8 hours. Shut the fuck up, my dude. Like, this is so deep within me. Like, there is a natural feeling inside of me that I should not be here, that I should be doing something else. I should be doing something more beneficial with my time.
We've spoken about that before, and I brought it up with a bunch of people before. I don't know if it's just how me and you are built, but it's always been that mindset of like, I'm waiting. I feel like I'm trying to survive and hang on as long as I can because I know there's something better that's out there that I'm supposed to be like that fucking the bat signal popping up, which I have to, there's something that I have at work in my office. A lot of the guys that I train with, they call me Sifu. Because we all have joking names. Like one of them's called King Taco. One of them's names is fuck, I can't even think of the other guys' names. But they always call me Batman because anytime I come out, they think that I'm fighting crime because I was coming to work late and I left for the bike academy. I came back and there was a fucking building, a picture of a building on my marker board with a bat signal in the corner, and it was one of the guys, his name was Jordan, saying, help, I need help. And it just, it's like, I do feel like that's what me and you more or less, that I'm waiting for that signal of, all right, this is what you've been doing, training for. Now it's time to kick that shit into gear and go handle business. But where the fuck's it at?
Right. And
I'm getting to that point where I was like, I'm the same way, dude. I wake up and I'm just like, fuck, dude, I hate it.
Yeah.
I dread getting up and having to go to work.
Yes. And that was, like I told you, that was one of the reasons psychologically I had to take a break from the gym. I was getting built in shape and I'm like, but what am I waiting for? When am I going to get to actually do something with this? Like, we can't, the world we live in, physical activity only gets you so far. And there's a lot of bureaucracy. There's a lot of red tape. There's a lot of he said, she said, and rubbing elbows. And it's just a lot of mental gymnastics that are exhausting. If it was like back in the day where we would just wake up, go to work with Notch, or when I was even doing construction, when I was in the Carpenters Union, I didn't really have to think. It was put on your tool belt, go to work. You're going to hit the roach coach. We're going to blow one of the cement walls blew out. We need you guys to break it down so we can set it back up. You're going to hop on the scissor lift, throw up an I-beam, weld it in place. It wasn't a lot of, oh, well, you're going to have to submit this form and then you're going to have to talk to your upper management and they're going to have to submit a request to HR.
We're going into a time now where it's not just physical work. It's not just, you're not going in there for labor. The transition, I remember talking to someone about it. The transition of things changed when you no longer submit a paper application to somebody. Yeah. You actually have to physically go online, print out an application and submit it to the website itself.
Half the interviews are video calls.
Yeah,
now.
And that's my interview that I had for my position. I got it back in August. It was a video call. I could have easily gone down there, but they want things more digitalized. Yeah. They don't want things manually. And I hear my boss's boss always saying it. Like, she's an engineer, so her running our department, because she's the director, she's always saying, she goes, I don't like things being manually done. Everything needs to be digital. Meaning there shouldn't be a reason you have
automated.
There shouldn't be a reason you have to hand put in things. And we always have to remind her, it's like, dude, this is security. It's a manual job.
It's a half and half.
I can't digitally tell someone to fucking kick rocks or stop resisting or you're committing a crime. I have to go hands on. Yeah. And that's just like, you're getting people that are thinking like that are higher up, that are trying to water down manual hard labor jobs. So because of this, we're in an older time where physically, you can handle shit, but mentally, we're not able to keep up.
Mentally, we can. It's like I said, the unnecessary. Me and you can handle it, bro. Like, even our listeners out there, they can handle a lot of this shit because, unfortunately, as we've moved up in the workforce, we've found that management really isn't smarter than you.
Oh, no.
They just have
not even remotely
better
close.
Qualifications.
You know what? It frustrates me.
They just rubbed elbows with the right people at the right time. I've
been around it, and I remember it was right before. I'm not going to go into too much details for it, but right before I was doing the bike academy, and I was riding. I had already been exhausted from riding a bike around the strip all day, doing 20,000 steps pretty much on what the bike said, and burning 3,000 calories.
Right. That's extreme.
I had to go to a bullshit meeting at the end of the day.
Right.
And everybody's all talking and joking around, having a good time, and me and the other guy that had to go through this academy were like, we had no interest in being there. And I remember when everybody left, I told everybody I had to speak to my managers, and they're like, okay, Landon, do you have anything to say? And I was like, no, I'll talk to you guys when everybody's out. And I made a comment about a couple things, and I pretty much lead it towards, I was like, look, I've been through so much to where I'm adaptable to anything, and I point at both my bosses. I was like, I could do your guys' job in a week.
Easily.
If you put me in your position, you give me a week to fucking learn it, I could do it. You don't do that much work because it's not physically demanding. Right. So when they were trying to get me to be like energetically attentive, I was like, dude, I just had to ride a bike because you physically can't. I had to do what you can't do because you put me in this position when I could do your job. Don't ever say that you're tired. You go, well, I had a long day too. Doing what? You were sitting at a fucking computer.
You get an office.
Yeah, you had an office. You had an office and you were doing just numbers, which I could have fucking done. And I still had to submit my slides, like my numbers to show how many officers were in the class, what percentage of how many instructors matched how many officers. For every one instructor, 6 officers. I had to do slides, so I had to do the book smart stuff, but also do the street shit.
Right.
And then when they're saying, oh, they're tired and they're just doing one half of it, I'm like, dude, shut up.
That's what drives my boss up a wall. He's like, your stats are shitty on the phone, but whenever I put you in any other position of even like middle management or just overseeing something, they're like, you get all energetic and you just don't. I'm like, because I can do that. I've mastered being on the phone. I'm bored now. I've checked out. This shit's too easy. I want to learn kind of like Elden Ring. I need to learn something new. I need it to be affirmed in my own mind that I've made it to the next level.
Right.
You know what I mean? Physically, I've gone as far as I want to go physically right now because I'm not going anywhere and I don't get to do much. So to me, outside of keeping my health in check, my body is not really priority because my job requires me to sit still for 8 hours and stare at a monitor. So it's just one of those things of we're rising above. It's just we're adapting, and this adaptation is uncomfortable because it's not a physical adaptation. It's not something. It's not like, oh, you need to do 20 push-ups instead of 10.
Right.
So you can just go to the gym for 5 days, 2 weeks, and you can hit that 20.
Agreed.
So it's trial and error. We're figuring it out. I want you guys to kind of keep up with what's going on with us because eventually me and Lynn are going to find that perfect opportunity where it's like, I'm out of the workforce. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be quick. But we want you guys to see our struggle and our achievement and accomplishments so it encourages you, or you can encourage somebody else who's in the same boat right now. We're tired, but we're still going to push. Like Lynn said, it's not about how tired you are or how depressed you are. You just have more work to do.
Yes, sir.
That's really all it comes down to. So keep it pushing. What do I say? Ear to the ground, eyes to the skies? No, we're not signing out yet, Lynn. Calm down.
Oh, okay. Let's say we got to wrap it up. We got stuff to do, son.
You know what I'm saying? So just make sure you're always informed. Make sure you're always up to date. And don't forget, we're all going through the struggle. We're all in it together. You know what I'm saying? All right. That's all I got. You got anything else?
Nope, I'm good.
Keep your head in the clouds.
Keep your feet on the ground, always moving
Project
forward.
Airwaves, once again, if you haven't yet, like, share, subscribe. Go check out our Patreon. Check out our Teespring, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, website.
Peacock.
Peacock.
Killing it.
You know what I'm saying? Keep your head in the clouds.
We already said that. Oh, yeah.
No,
yeah,
I
you
didn't.
did. You just said it.
No, I didn't.
It's the second time.
I said keep your ear to the ground and your eyes to the sky.
I promise you.
Are you sure?
100%.
Project Airwaves, we're signing out.
You're getting dementia.
You're an asshole.
Bye.
Bye.
Be good.